Welcome to the Scent of Beauty. My name is Susan. This is part 2 of Is It Real or Is It Memorex? If you're watching this video first, I suggest that you pause and watch part 1 before you continue watching this video or listening to this video. So in part 1, we talked about the recall, the memory muscles, the hippocampus, the temporal lobe. And we talked about how we have memories that we recall automatically and how much that shape our relationships that we're having today. And I want to continue now about the reality. As we go into the new year, many of us make or are getting ready to make New Year's resolutions, but how many of us last year made New Year's resolutions, and this year in December we're ready to get out of this year because we didn't have any of our desires resolved. And that's where the memory muscles come in, because we could make a resolution, but our psyches don't know the difference between making a resolution. It is only resolved based on the belief system that have been implanted. We talk about amenities that we can begin offering to ourselves, the scent of tranquility. And when I say tranquility, I'm not referring to getting in a circle, singing kumbaya, tranquility as far as going into a meditative state, but tranquility for our psyche. Those thought patterns that we talked about recalling, it really was implemented as a form of protection to our mind. That was our brain's reaction to many of us have experienced traumatic injuries that caused our psyche to be harmed. And so these, thought patterns that continually play out, remember when, and it continues to give us the experience in real time. As we pause these recordings for this moment, in this hour, in this time, I want us to start to implement new stimulation, because that's what initially started the recalls, was stimulation. So if our psyche is an active agent and it is governed by stimulation, we could start implementing new stimulations today. We don't have to wait to verbalize our desire, but we could stimulate our psyche. The stimulation requires that these run-on sentences with no periods, no commas, no explanation point, no questions. Today we are going to slow that down. And the new stimulation is, what can we add? What is the realities that we're missing today? We could add space. We could also release and relax our psyche. We can give it, we could open to new possibilities. What about acceptance, acknowledgement, letting go? And not only just letting go, but the ability to be open to receive. We can give ourselves a psyche break and just to surrender. To surrender really means to care for. Or actually, to elaborate a little bit more about surrender, when an individual have a dog and that they can no longer care for, they take it to the pound, they surrender it, they give it to a place that have the amenities to care for that, for the dog. And so we're going to, when I say surrender, I mean surrender to a place where we could give our psyche um, the love and the care and the nurturing that it needs. And that comes from a clear conscience. I want to read a couple of quotes on clear conscience. The best the best tranquilizer is a clear conscience. Clear conscience, never fear midnight knocking. Be honest in every way and enjoy the peace that only a clear conscience can bring you. Freedom is a clear conscience. Notice I said clear and not good. And the reason why, because that is an individual, compass. When I say clear, I'm not talking about comparing and contrasting. And that's what a lot of the memory muscle recalls, gauges its conclusions from comparing and contrasting. But I'm talking about a clear conscience. And what I mean by that is easy to perceive, explicit, a conscience that you could understand, a translucent conscience, unclouded and transparent. And there's a list that could go on and on. But I think Rachel captured what I'm talking about with a clear conscience when she did this drawing with the scent of beauty, the logo, where if we look at the words, there's so many words that are, they're not all synonyms. Some of them are antonyms, but they're clear. There's a clarity to it. And that is the scent of beauty. And that is the reality. When all of our being, all of who we are, all of the scent that we have ruminating in our psyche, when we ourselves are able to know those pheromones and love ourselves unconditionally. And that is the reality of the scent of beauty, to get into that place where a clear conscience become our, when a clear conscience become our when we have a clear conscience, we resolve who we are. And that is our autonomy. And that is the scent of beauty. Thank you.